Bumblebee producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura has admitted making an Optimus Prime spin-off would be difficult. Over the last 11 years there have been 6 Transformers movies, all of which Bonaventura produced. Optimus Prime was at the centre of the first 5 Transformers movies, but the 6th film was the series' first spin-off and gave Bumblebee a backstory. Now, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. These comments from Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, who was very high on an Optimus Prime spin-off prior to Bumblebee the movie and its release. Now he's beginning to backtrack. Okay, that's not good. So let's actually read what he had to say and why he feels an Optimus Prime movie would be so difficult. It will be hard with Optimus. He's always right, very stoic, and is a man of few words. It's kind of like saying, let's do a movie about Obi-Wan Kenobi, but how much is there to say about Obi-Wan? It's not so easy. Lorenzo, I'm going to stop you there, and I'm just going to give you a gentle reminder. You've just made a Transformers film about Bumblebee. Bumblebee is the Transformer that speaks the least in the franchise. And now you're going to say that it's going to be hard for an Optimus Prime movie because he's a man of few words. He's a Transformer of few words actually. But come on. Now this is very disappointing to read, and this interview was given to the Metro from Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. I actually picked this up on Screen Rant and I will link the article in the description box below. But this has me worried. Now, why would Lorenzo Di Bonaventura be coming out with this after initially he was so high on an Optimus Prime spin-off to come after Bumblebee? He was saying this months before the movie's release. Well, it's probably to do with the box office, and although Bumblebee the movie has been received very well by fans and critics, it hasn't performed as well at the box office, and that is a shame. But you have to take into account why this movie might not perform up to expectation. And it's not because Travis Knight's vision wasn't right. It's not because the budget of this movie was lower or less than Michael Bay's. It's because this movie had to do a lot of damage control. This movie had to right a lot of wrongs and bring back a lot of trust to this franchise. So you're still going to have those fans out there that were reluctant to go to the cinema to give their money to Paramount Pictures because of the past. And I'm talking about the last 5 Transformers films. Now, I'm a fan of the Transformers 2007 movie. Revenge of the Fallen to me was not as bad as everybody made out. Just saying. Then Dark of the Moon I thoroughly enjoyed. And the last 2, well, I just didn't really understand the direction we were going in, particularly by the time we got Transformers The Last Night. That movie gave me a headache. So, you know, I understand why some fans have not gone to see this movie, but just look at the score on Rotten Tomato. I mean, a 90+% for a Transformers film. That's huge. All the signs are positive, regardless of the box office, and I do understand a movie needs to make money. I get that. But think about the future of the franchise. Don't do a knee-jerk reaction, because if I continue to read this article, it begins to get a bit worrying, because it could be that they go back to Bay. So let me continue to read on this article from Screen Rant. Bonaventura has expressed interest in an Optimus Prime movie before, but that certainly isn't the only Transformers movie fans might be seeing. Knight has expressed interest in making a sequel to Bumblebee, and Bonaventura has revealed that another mainline Transformers movie is also on the way. Since Bumblebee has gotten mostly positive reviews from fans and critics alike, Paramount could also be thinking about another spin-off movie that delves into the backstory of one specific Transformer. Now, all of that makes sense, bar maybe one worrying line. Now, let's pick the bones out of it. An Optimus Prime origin story seems to make perfect sense, because if we're going back instead of forward and we're looking at, like we did with Bumblebee in the 1980s, if you want to go a bit back further, then why not tell the story of Optimus Prime, the most iconic Autobot? Why not go there and do that, and do it on Cybertron? I saw Collider say they'd like to see a full Transformers movie with the visuals that we had from Travis Knight's movie as a Cybertron film. Well, you could do that, but you could do it to tell the story of Prime. So why not go there? I don't think, it would lack anything, with no human cast, because the emotion that we can get can come from the Transformers. They've all got characters, and we've seen how Travis Knight can portray emotion with a Transformers film. So it is entirely doable, and I'm not sure why Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is now saying it's so difficult. Well, maybe I do. A Bumblebee sequel I would be open to, and I did actually think that they should have built towards a sequel, which they kind of indicated that they're going in a direction at the end of Bumblebee the movie, and I'm going to talk about a spoiler here, so just prepare yourself, because Hailee Steinfeld's character made her exit from this franchise as such, because B is going off. I wouldn't have done that, because I actually would have liked to have seen the second movie feature Hailee Steinfeld's character. And I do actually have a vision in mind for how they could bring Hailee Steinfeld's character back into the movie, but we'll talk about that in another video, because I think that she was very important for this film. I think that many of the critics that have seen this film have praised her performance, and I enjoyed her being a part of the Transformers universe, and I'd like to see more of Hailee Steinfeld as Charlie if we're going to continue Bumblebee's story. So those two options are extremely appealing to me. An Optimus Prime origin story, or a Bumblebee 2. The third option, which is another mainline Transformers movie, has me worried, because when and where would that take place? Is that kind of come off the heels of Bumblebee? Seems a bit of a rush. And if they were to do that and move that quickly, I just think that's going to result in failure, because we've seen when movie studios move things too fast, you get what happened with the Justice League. And I think this needs to be a gradual process. Move slowly towards another mainline Transformers film. Don't do it yet. Take your time, establish characters, use the Marvel approach. So that is the way that I believe they should do that if they're looking at a mainline Transformers film. But it might not mean that it's going to be a mainline Transformers film from what we've just seen from Bumblebee. It could mean that Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is going to tuck his tail between his legs and go back to Michael Bay, because Transformers 5 The Last Night left the story open for the rise of Unicron, and if Lorenzo is not happy with the performance of B at the box office, well, they know that they have got the cash cow that is Bay to come back to the franchise, and Michael Bay might want another crack at Transformers after seeing Travis Knight smash it. So, it does worry me that they might do that. And a while ago, I said on this channel that I felt that they should have closed the story of Bay's franchise with the rise of Unicron, and they should have gone ahead with the Transformers 7 movie. Or in fact, they should have done that movie before they did the B movie. But because now I've seen Travis Knight's vision, I've seen how good a Transformers film can be when you focus on G1, I don't want that anymore. I don't want to go back. I love having story and emotion and the magic being brought into a Transformers film. I loved seeing those Cybertron scenes. I loved seeing the battle commence, the war of Cybertron. And it was just thoroughly enjoyable as opposed to the carnage and the mayhem that we're so used to seeing. And it just worries me that Lorenzo Di Bonaventura has come out and said this, and these details have come out, just after the movie's release. So why? Why not be in a high that you've had a Transformers film that's done so well that it's opened the door to get an Optimus Prime Origins movie? Why then go on and say, actually, you know what? Not entirely sure if we can do this Optimus Prime's origin movie because I'm not sure if it's got legs or not. Maybe we need to actually go back and rethink this. That sounds a bit, a bit weak for any sort of vision, and it kind of reminds me of the writer's room. We go and compile this massive writer's room to come up with origin stories to build the Transformers franchise for 10 plus years or something they were saying, and then it all fell apart. And that's what worries me about Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. Is his vision big enough? And is he willing to put in the time to establish that vision? Or is he just looking for a quick win? And is he looking for something that will draw in the big bucks? Now, they gave faith to Bumblebee. They gave faith to Travis Knight. So I should have faith and think that if they did that once, they'll do it again. But like I said, when they go and look at the box office, they could say, well, it performed very well. Critics loved it, fans loved it, but didn't make the money, did it? And we know that Bay brings the money. So, this worries me. And what would be interesting is if they did release another Michael Bay Transformers film, would people go see that just to compare to what they had with Travis Knight's movie? Would you go see it? Let's put the question to you guys, the Transformers fans. Would you go and see a Transformers film again by Michael Bay after you've seen Bumblebee the movie? And would you go and see it if it was the Rise of Unicron story, which was the continuation from Transformers 5? I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below, and I will read one final extract from this Screen Rant article just talking about, how the Transformers franchise has evolved, because I think it's important to read this as well. With the success of Bumblebee, Bonaventura and the rest of Paramount are likely thinking about what the best course of action would be for the rest of the series. Bumblebee was successfully able to integrate more heart and humour into the Transformers films when compared to Michael Bay's approach to the series, which basically involved blowing up stuff with a nonsensical plot. While Bonaventura makes some good points about the potential struggles of crafting an Optimus Prime movie, it shouldn't come as a surprise if the film is eventually made. Optimus Prime is by far one of the most iconic Transformers characters, and creating a spin-off film revolving around him would likely pull people to the theatres. So I think Screen Rant summed it up perfectly, and like I said, the full article is in the description box below. But what would your course of action be next after Bumblebee the movie? Would you look at an Optimus Prime spin-off or origin story? Would you look towards a Bumblebee 2? Would you look towards a mainline Transformers film featuring all the Transformers but coming off the back of Bumblebee? Or would you go back to Bay? I want to get your views and opinions on this. My honest feelings about this is I'm a bit dumbfounded as to why Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is coming out with this at this point in time. If anything, he should be looking at the feedback online and seeing all the positives about Bumblebee and the anticipation of an Optimus Prime film and be licking his chops. That's what he should be doing, and working out the best way to take the franchise forward from this, and working out that long-term plan to have a gradual integration of a mainline Transformers film. Do that. Work off the soft reboot that you've built for yourselves. Instead, he's coming out with this, which worries me. So what do you think? Get involved in the comment section below. I want to hear your views and opinions, and don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my Transformers content. I've got plenty to talk about when it comes to Bumblebee the movie and the future of the live action universe. This is Delzinski. I hope we get an Optimus Prime movie. I hope it's next, if I'm honest. This is Delzinski, signing out.